So we're basically gonna repeat the same steps, okay? You take your instructions. In this case, these are the instructions. They said the following information should be included: date on which you were commissioned to conduct the investigation, the name and position of the person who commissioned you, your name and your position, the essence of the report, and the date for which the submission of the report and recommendations. Okay, so basically, if you have all this information in your terms of reference, you'll get maximum marks. Okay, but let's take a step back. For those of you who are not familiar with investigative reports, the terms of reference is simply a statement of the problem to be investigated, the names of persons commissioning the report, the scope and time frame for the investigation. Accordingly, this section shows who authorized the investigation and what you are authorized to investigate. Okay, so this is how you could have responded to this part of the assignment. Okay, the first thing that you must write is the text terms of reference, and you must number terms of reference. Okay, after doing this, you are supposed to state something like this: on 15 August, Mr. Selby, the finance manager of Gauteng College, requested Mr. Kali, the administrator, to investigate possible ways of assisting parents and students to raise funds to pay their tuition fees. The full report, including recommendations, was to be submitted to the finance manager by 30 September 2024. If you look at the information that I've provided in this section, almost 90% of it comes from the background information and the instructions, except for this one here, the 15 August 2024. Since we were not given a date on which the investigative report was commissioned, it is completely up to you to decide on any date that makes sense though. Okay, for example, since this investigative report is due on the 30th of September, I've decided that this investigative report was actually commissioned on the 15th, giving you at least 45 days to conduct the investigative report. Make sure that whatever date that you choose here makes sense. Okay, so you need to go back to your checklist. Okay, they said we need to provide a date on which you were commissioned to conduct the investigation. In this case, I have used 15 August 2024. They say they wanted the name and position of the person who commissioned you. I told them that Mr. Selby, the finance manager of Gauteng College, actually commissioned this investigation. So that is there. And then next, they said your name and your position. I've mentioned that my name is Mr. Kali and my position as the administrator. Okay, this information is there. The essence of the report. This is what I'm stating here: to investigate possible ways of assisting parents and students to raise funds to pay their tuition fees. This information is there. And then lastly, they say the date for the submission of the report and recommendation. This is the information here. The report, including recommendations, was to be submitted to the finance manager by 30 September 2024. If you do it like this, you'll get all the marks for this section. Okay, let us look at how you can, or you could have written your procedures. Okay, we have come to the most important part of your assignment. Okay, your procedures are the core of the assignment, because your findings and conclusions are based on whatever you will have stated under this section. So it is important that you understand exactly what procedures are. If you are new to investigative reports, please note that procedures are simply the steps taken to investigate the problem, including the method and sources of information. Okay, this section shows what aspects of a problem were covered by your investigation and shows whether the information you provide is accurate and reliable. So when you are writing your procedures, you must state the actions taken and the reason for taking those actions. Okay, so when you are writing this in your investigative report, please number procedures. Okay, your procedures will be numbered as number 2. And when you are writing your procedures, make sure that you can clearly identify the action taken and the reason for taking that particular action. If you look at this slide here, I have divided each statement into two. The statement that is written using a red color is the action taken, and the statement that is written using a blue color, that is the reason for taking that particular action. If you do it like this, you'll easily identify mistakes when you make them. Okay, and the procedures for this assignment could have been written something like this. A survey in a form of questionnaires was conducted to determine why some students were not funded by NSFAS and to find out if they could be assisted to get funding from NSFAS. The second procedure is meetings were held with the Student Representative Council to discuss possible events that could be hosted by the SRC to generate funds that could be used to assist struggling students pay off their tuition fees. The third one is meetings were held with the heads of departments to find out if there were possible job opportunities within different faculties to provide owing students with employment, which will help them make money to pay their tuition fees. And the last procedure that was taken is a study was conducted to find out if crowdfunding campaigns in other universities were able to generate a significant amount of money to assist struggling students pay off their debts. Okay, so if you look at all these procedures, you will clearly identify the action taken and the reason for taking this particular action. Okay, if you look at the procedures that I have listed in this lesson, you will realize that they are all practical. So whenever you're coming up with your own procedures, make sure that you choose something that is practical and realistic. Okay, with that out of the way, let us look at the findings.